Red Deer Center for Spiritual Living. The sun is shining, no snow. You can't get it much better than that, except we have all these wonderful people here, which add the sugar and the spice to the joy of today. So I'm Reverend Tress Phillips, and I welcome you to our Sunday celebration of life and love. And it is November. It's November. I'm still living in the past here. And our November theme is Breathe in the View. Now we have announcements, and we do have a bingo this Wednesday. And Juliet still needs 2 more people. If you can volunteer, if you could tell Russell, because he will be speaking with Juliet, as well, if you were online and you can volunteer, I will give you Juliet's phone number. It's 403-358-0098, Juliet, 403-358-0098. And now the children have gone and are doing children things. So our Growing Spirit Circle, the word for the children, our word, is cleanliness. And cleanliness means keeping yourself clean and helping keep our world clean by leaving candy wrappers or potato chip bags. Like, don't leave them around. Don't leave our stuff around. And a clean mind as well, that we can clean up our act, both physically, spiritually, and mentally. So our affirmation for cleanliness is, I am good to myself as I take care of my world. So will you repeat with me? I am good to myself as I take care of my world. And now our November affirmations. It is on our purple sheet here. And the opening affirmation is, joyously I enter into the good of this day. I celebrate and rejoice, knowing that God is good, life is good, and I am good. I move and act and speak from a state of grace and loving kindness towards all, and so it is. And also a reminder that we do have our new Science of Mind magazines. They are $5. And Jericho Brown is who they're featuring this week. And it's Breathe in the View. Now, if you will join me in our opening affirmation. Joyously I enter the good of this day. I celebrate and rejoice, knowing that God is good, life is good, I am good. I move and act and speak from a state of grace and loving kindness towards all, and so it is. And now if you will join me, I will do my own opening affirmation. I invite you to close your eyes and know with me that all is divine, all is God, all is good, that the pathway of our lives is smooth. We are always directed, and today we are divinely in tune with the right direction of where we are to go to express our glorious, beautiful self to the world. And with our eyes, we are open and see the beauty of all those around us. And I am able to open my eyes and see the beauty of our speaker, who's speaking on live before the but, not after, Reverend Valentine Owen.
All right, I know that's a very strange title, but it's not my title. At least I made it my title, but it's something I heard. So a few weeks back, my grandson and I went to a sports excellence seminar. And the instructor talked about how to become a better athlete. And he had many great ideas. He talked about visualization, mental preparation. He even talked about breathing technique. He didn't really call it meditation, he just said breathing techniques. And he talked about getting into the zone and being really focused on our goals. And I thought, he's talking a lot about the things that we talk about. And then he said something that really caught my attention. It made me really think something different. He said, the athletes that truly do their best and achieve what they desire, they think, feel, and live before the but. They make a commitment to themselves to reframe their thinking, feeling, and living after the but. For example, when they have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to be able to practice, they do that with a good attitude instead of saying, but I'd rather be sleeping in this morning. When training, they're in that present moment instead of thinking, but I'd rather be out with my girlfriend, or I'd rather be out watching my favorite hockey game. He said they stay thinking before the but, because the minute they start thinking after the but, they lose some of their competitive edge. Not only that, but when they start thinking after the but, they let doubt creep in. They become less motivated. They become unsure of themselves. So driving home, I started thinking, how can this apply to all of us? Because I think we all do that. It's in every area of our life. When we start thinking of the but, after the but, we hinder our own life. I want you just to stop and think, how often in your life do you want something, that you desire something, and you get inspired about whatever it is that you want, and then you think after the but? Just stop and think. Does that happen to you? And then you think, like I said, after the but, why you can't, why you shouldn't. So did you take that moment and think what comes up for you? What kind of a but is stopping you from doing what it is that you truly want? You see, I came to the conclusion that if we truly lived our daily lives before the but, we would realize and start to believe all things are possible in our life. That all things are possible for us because we are a divine creative being, a part of the perfection of God, a being of light. We are a drop of the divine, a being of spiritual magnificence. Now you see, all those things that I just said, do you believe that about yourself? Or was there a but in your mind? Did you say, but I don't feel that about myself? But I don't think I'm like that. I don't think I'm a drop of the divine. I don't think that all things are possible. Well, this morning, I would like us to let go of our buts. Those are the things that are keeping us from who we really are. In essence, because who we really are is all those ideas that come up into our mind, those ideas that we have, that inspiration that we have before the but. But then that but comes up and we let all those things go. You see, we are that drop of the divine. Stop and think. When you take a drop out of the ocean, you're just taking a drop out of the ocean, but that drop is still the ocean. And it's the same with us. We're not all of God, but we're a part of God. In essence, like I said, we're just a drop of the divine. We were born to make manifest the essence of God, which is in all of us. It's not just in some of us. Like I said, it's in all of us. All of us are the divine drop of God. So, what's the difference? Why do some of us live in a place of inspiration and some of us live in a place of desperation? Some of us have success in life while others of us experience failure. Some of us have abundance in our life while others of us live in lack. Some of us come from a place of self-love. We truly love ourselves unconditionally. What others of us feel we're just not good enough. Well, it all boils down to which side of the butt that you really live on, that you think about. It's what we allow to rattle on between that space in our ears. You know, those things that we call thoughts. True spiritual wisdom, true spiritual insight is avoiding all those thoughts that weaken and diminish us. It's not going to that place of thinking after the butt. True wisdom, true spiritual insight is embracing thoughts that strengthen and inspire us. These are the thoughts that we have before the butt. Charles Fillmore, the founder of Unity, said, God's greatest gift to us is the power of thought, thought which we can incorporate into our consciousness from the mind of God. And these are inspiring thoughts, life-affirming thoughts. And our founder, Ernest Holmes, says, to learn how to think is to learn how to live, because our thoughts go into a media that is infinite in its ability to do and be anything. I want to say that again. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, says to learn how to think is to learn how to live, because our thoughts go into a medium that is infinite in its ability to do and to be anything. You see, by thinking, we bring into our experience the embodiment of our thoughts, meaning whatever we think about or believe comes about. We truly do create our own reality with our own thoughts. Henry Ford said it a different way. He said, whatever you think you can or can't, you're always right. You're never wrong. It's whatever you think. And Jesus says it a different way. It is done unto you as you believe, and thinking makes it so. So in many ways, we are told the same thing over and over again. But we seem to forget that our thoughts are the basis of everything that happens in our life. So I want you to understand this is why it's so. You see, we are surrounded with a universal mind, a life force, or quantum field, or this intelligence, or cosmic energy, or spirit. Regardless of what you call it, this energy is an unlimited source of power within us and around us. This is the power which we use to create. This is the power that makes all our thoughts come to fruition. So today, let's call this energy intelligence, just for something short, an easy way. This intelligence knows everything, creates everything, encompasses everything, is everything. This intelligence is everything that's formed and unformed, expressed and unexpressed, created today and uncreated. It's still that universal consciousness that someone can create from whatever they decide they think of. Everything, absolutely everything exists in this intelligence, and it's everywhere present at all times. And the thoughts that we have before the butt are usually thoughts of peace, of wisdom, of love, of abundance, harmony. They're all those thoughts that create something good in our life. Deepak Chopra calls these thoughts pure potentiality. We don't have to do anything. We were born with them. They're all in us. Craig Graydon calls these thoughts the soup of creation, and we live in it. He says it's all around us. We don't have to go looking for it. We don't have to find it. We have it already all around us. And like I said, it doesn't matter what you call it, as long as we realize that we exist from it, and we create from it, and we live with it. What is important to know is that whatever we draw from it, we draw it through our mind and our heart. We have this conscious connection with it. And we make this conscious connection through our thoughts, our attitudes, our beliefs, and our feelings. Every thought we think, it strengthens us or weakens us. There is no exception. It makes us feel better about ourselves or worse about ourselves. So thoughts that strengthen us, they always come before the but. Like I said, they're love, goodwill, kindness, compassion, acceptance, gratitude. Those are the thoughts that do strengthen us. And thoughts that weaken us, they always come after the but. Those are thoughts of doubt, frustration, anger, shame, guilt, judgment. And you know that list that goes on in your mind. You see, at times we're given a thought of inspiration. And sometimes that thought may be, you know what, I should eat healthy meals. But that hot fudge sundae calls to us. That's one of my biggest problems. You know, I have this idea. I get up in the morning and I say, today's going to be a different day. I'm going to do better. I'm going to eat better. I'm going to work out. I'm going to look after my body better. But then I spend the day working, and then I'm driving home and I go, but I don't want to cook. I'm too tired. I think I'll just drive by A&W. You see, we all do that to ourselves. Maybe we want to have a loving relationship in our life, but we think, oh, if I really tell them how much I love them or show how much I love them, they'll maybe just leave me, and I'll be scared and I'll be overwhelmed. So we don't really express our love to the people that are in our life because of fear. Or we may have a desire to buy a new house or a new car or some article of clothing. And then we start thinking, but I really can't afford it. Do you see how often that but comes up in our life? Not only do we stop ourselves of living after the but if you stop and think, how often do you say to yourself, you want to do something, and you share that with a friend or a family member, and they say, but you shouldn't do that. But think of all the things that are going to happen. I've told some of my friends and my families that I think I want to build a new house. And I get told, but, you're getting old. You shouldn't have to do that. But you live in a nice house. But don't spend too much time or don't spend your money. And yet somewhere in the deep part of my soul and my body and my mind, I keep thinking, I want to truly build a new home. Not necessarily for myself. I keep having this idea, I want to build it so my kids can come and live with me. Or if my kids don't want to come and live with me, so my friends can come and live with me. And that idea keeps going around and around in my head. And every time I say it to someone, oh, but you shouldn't. But it's going to take too much time and too much effort. So you see, sometimes those other people's buts stop us. It's not just our buts. Stop and think. How many times do you want to do something and somebody says to you, but you shouldn't. You shouldn't do that. My youngest grandson saw this old car, but it's a sports car. It's like 2009 or something like that. It's a lot of years old, like 10 or 12 years old. And we all told him, but it's too old. It's too close to the ground and you can't drive in the snow. And it's got a piece missing over there. And I've even told him he could have one of my cars that's just sitting in my garage. It's not even going anywhere. I don't use it anymore. But he kept arguing with us. He kept saying, there's a reason I want it. I love that car. I love that car. He was so focused on that car. It didn't matter what buts we said to him. Finally, for his birthday, his mom got it. He can't even drive yet. He doesn't have his driver's license. He's got it sitting in the car, in the garage, and every couple of days he goes out and sits in it and polishes it up a little bit. And then he opens up the garage door, pulls it out into the garage parking, into that garage space. And then one day he decided that he would drive it around the block. Now, it's not insured or anything like that. And not only did he just drive it around the block, he took his sister with him. Well, his mother lost it. She truly lost it. She told him all the bad things that can happen. So now he's grounded. But you know, he wanted that car so bad that all the buts in the world didn't stop him from getting it. He made all these deals with his mom. I think he got all these ideas when he went to that sports excellence seminar when the guy said, "Don't live after the buts." Oh my goodness. You see, that's how life is. We always think of all the reasons why we can't have something. So what I'm trying to say, the spiritual wisdom that we have is our ability to monitor our thoughts. Determine what it is you really want. All the thoughts that we have either weaken us or strengthen us. So shift those thoughts that you have that will strengthen you and not weaken you. Only entertain in your mind the thoughts before the but. You see, when you want to empower yourself, you are in mind, you're in harmony with the universal mind that uplifts and raises your spirit. When we're in that attitude, life is good. We're in a state of grace. And then, from the resources of our mind, we start thinking after the but. And then we feel disempowered. Then we feel like we have to justify what it is that we want. Then we feel like we're being condemned. We weaken ourselves. We become self-defeating, and those thoughts go through our mind. So I want to go into a little bit more depth about the different thoughts that we have that weaken us. So how many of these self-defeating thoughts cross your mind when you have an idea and then you go after the but? Do you carry around thoughts of shame about what you may have done in the past? You see, when you carry around thoughts of shame, you weaken yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Also, if you try to shame someone to get them to change, you are creating a weakened person, and they will find it hard to feel empowered. See, we even tried to shame the kid into not getting the car, telling him all kinds of different reasons why he was way too young. But I love the determination that he had. We could not create anything out of his mind that he was determined to have that car. See, so how are you shaming yourself from the past things? And when you shame yourself, you go to a place of guilt. And you live from guilt. And when you live from guilt, you use up your present moments, the moments that give you a better life. You think of guilty things, and then you stop yourself from doing the best that you can. See, no amount of guilt can undo what's been done to you or what you've done to someone else. Instead of giving yourself and another person permission to learn from that mistake, so release the guilt. Stop beating yourself up and paying penance for what you maybe have done. You can decide to be better than you used to be and give yourself permission to make amends for what you did. Release that feeling of shame and guilt. Allow your soul to grow. Allow your soul to expand and live in you. Another thing that weakens us is the thought of apathy. Thoughts of apathy create despair. They are the thoughts that keep us from being engaged in the splendor of life. Apathy stems from self-pity, feeling sorry for yourself, complaining about your lot in life, being bored, telling people you're lonely. Every moment of every day presents an unlimited number of options to live fully and be connected to the joys of life. There is always something to do, always something to be happy about. So stop feeling sorry for yourself. Go help someone else. Your help is always needed and appreciated. It's an insult to this joyous universal place that we live. This place is filled with hundreds and millions of miracles that is all around us. Our life is a miracle. Everything, the growth outside, the nature, everything is a miracle. So stop thinking just about yourself and think about all the miracles that are in your world, the people that are in your world, the things that are going on that are wonderful, creative, that you're healthy, you're here, you're still on this side. Another thought that puts and stops us from going to the things that we want to do is the thought of fear. Every thought we have in which we are in a state of fear keeps us away from our purpose, and it weakens us. Fear keeps us immobilized and stops us from moving forward. So turn your fear over to God and trust in a loving, supportive universe that truly desires the best for you. And the way to overcome fear is to feel that fear and do it anyway. One of the things that when I was younger, and even not that much younger, I didn't learn to drive till I was 35. I was scared to learn how to drive. My ex-husband bought me 2 brand new cars during that time from 20 to 35. I still didn't drive. They sat in the parking lot for a little while. And then he sold them because I didn't learn how to drive. And the reason I had such a hard fear of driving was when I was probably about 18 or 19, I went to a fortune teller. And the fortune teller told me that I would have my daughter in my car, and before I was 35, we would be in a horrific car accident. Now, that's a horrible thing to say to somebody, but that's what I was told. And I kind of believed that fortune teller. So when I turned 35 and we were still alive, I go, okay. And my oldest daughter was 15 at that time. And I decided, okay, we're going to go driving. And I'm going to teach her how to drive. But then I had to learn how to drive first. So I went and got lessons. And after the lessons, I got my driver's license. And then I started having her drive around. You see, there's always something that will inspire us to do something and have us in a place of fear. Who inspired me to drive was the fact that I wanted my young oldest daughter to learn to drive. And I had to get inspired to drive. So fear really stopped me for like 15 years or more of driving. Sometimes to come up here and speak is very fearful. And I have to get through that fear and say, okay, I can do it. And I'm sure some of the other ministers go through that. And I'm sure all of you go through a place of fear. And you say, I have to do this in my life. I'm sure when we start a new job, we're fearful. We have to go through that fear. But that fear is on the other side of the butt. So I want you to think today, what are some of the fears that are stopping you? Are stopping you from doing what it is that you desire? And what way can you grow through that fear? Another thought that we have that really is on the wrong side of the butt is a lot of times we get angry. We try to justify our anger by blaming someone else because they did such and such to us. The truth is, we are carrying around the anger. The other person or situation is only a catalyst to display what we have inside of us. If we didn't have that anger in us, they could not make us angry no matter what they did. You see, moments of frustration would not trigger that anger in us. So we have to look at that. Where am I angry? Because where I'm angry, I'm living after the butt. And once we realize that what we think about is the source of our experience, it's our reality that we create, we can start paying more attention to what we think about and to what side of the butt we're living on. Remember, we become what we think about all day long. Our thoughts determine whether we are empowered or weakened, happy or sad, healthy or sick, successful or not. Everything is a thought in mind first. What we carry around with us, Those are our thoughts. And our thoughts are part of our consciousness. It's part of the challenge that we have. We have to challenge our thinking. If we want to change our life, we have to make a decision to change our thinking. And the thinking that disempowers us is usually after the but. And we have a choice. We are always at choice. Choice is our God-given inheritance and our God-given freedom. No one can take that choice away from us. Our greatest freedom and our ability is to monitor our thoughts at all times. Remember, you are far more the sum total of your current circumstances. It's not what you are that is holding you back. It's what you think you are not. That's the thought that you have after the but. So I have a request for us today. I would like you to join me in making a commitment for the rest of this month. Pick any change that you would like to experience in your life. And anytime you use that word but, reframe your thinking. Go back to the thought that was before the but. If you can do this, you will become more loving, more mindful, more powerful, more generous, more abundant, more peaceful, and healthier. You see, we are always at choice. We have the choice each day to wake up and say, "Good morning, God." That's before the but. Or we can say, "Good God, it's morning." That's after the but. So like I said, the choice is yours. So make a commitment to yourself to live your life, to think before the but, and stop yourself from thinking after the but. And so it is. And thank you. Reverend Judy.
Okay, now I have the papers that I need. First of all, what a wonderful message, Reverend Valentine. Thank you. I've been practicing this philosophy for, 30-some years now? And I forget sometimes. So thank you for the reminder. And let's read our prosperity affirmation together. I give and I receive, and I do so with gratitude. All that I am is a gift of spirit. All that I do is my gift back to life, maintaining that perfect circulation that is God in action. I choose to bless myself and my world by sharing generously, and so it is. And obviously, we are hoping that you will choose to share with your Center for Spiritual Living at Red Deer. And those of you who are here, we have the basket. You can drop your envelopes in. And if you're not here, you can visit our website, csl@reddeer.org, and there is a donate button. And if you want to do it some other way, phone the office. Thank you. And our closing affirmation: I step into the events of this day with enthusiasm, vitality, and a calm expectation of good. As I expect good in every situation, that is what I receive. It is done unto me as I believe, and so it is. And a closing treatment. A closing spiritual mind treatment, or affirmative prayer, if you prefer that term. Please know with me the good of this day, the good of the message we have just heard, the good that it is possible for each and every one of us to experience as we act before the but. In fact, we can eliminate that word from our vocabulary. I give loving thanks for the message, for the thought, for the love that went into it. I give loving thanks for the ability at any time in our lives to make the choice, to make a different choice, to make a choice for a greater experience of love, of life, of joy, of well-being. I release these words into that infinite law that always says yes. And so it is.